Well, it's all over, and the Kings win it 121 to 113. Great to have Ryan in Sacktown here. And Ryan, I'm going to give you the stat that jumps right out at me that is winning basketball 30 assists, 8 turnovers for Sacramento.
Amen, Grant. They have been taking care of that basketball so well, and I swear, 30 assists, that number usually equates to a Kings win.
Light the beam. Post-game show starting in just a moment. $121 to $113. Ryan, how about the third quarter in the last 24 hours? I mean, last night they absolutely embarrassed Phoenix in the third quarter, and then tonight they outscored the Jazz 35 to 17. So that's twice, back-to-back games. They've trailed at the break, 11 last night, 6 tonight, and before you know it, boom, the Kings are on top.
Yeah, and without De'Aaron too tonight, so that makes it even more special. But it's a good sign, Grant, for the Kings heading into the playoffs, having quick starts to the third quarter, having good first quarters. That's going to be a recipe for success.
Yeah, and the Kings get a big game for the rookie Keegan Murray, 22 points on 15 shots. He was 8 of 15, 6 of 12 from distance. So he played very well. Meanwhile, if you look at the Minnesota Timberwolves and what they gave up to get Rudy Gobert, and one of those players was Walker Kessler among the draft picks and everything. What a steal of a draft or of trade that was for the Jazz. What a steal.
Arguably, the Jazz won that trade. I mean, just right now, even speaking. So, Walker Kessler. I mean, can you be any more efficient than 14 of 16 tonight?
Unbelievable. I mean, seriously. Yep. And 11 rebounds.
11 rebounds, exactly. I mean, he's going to be one to watch for a while, Grant, and a force that the Kings are going to see for years to come.
Yeah, so 121 to 113. Light the beam. And if you don't like that, you don't like Kings basketball. Great to have everybody with us right here on the postgame as the Kings get another victory. The question is, are they going to get to 50? Are they going to get to 50 wins? I'm thinking probably not. They're going to fall just short, but it's still there. It's still on the table for them.
It's still on the table. They may. This team's surprised us all season long. I think it's going to be 48 or 49. I said 48 when we did our prediction show. But yeah, it could be. I mean, do you think they need Fox to get to 50, Grant?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I do. Okay. Yep. Yeah. Davion's defense was very good, but you get that every night, Anita. I mean, that's what he does out there. He's like a glove. Remember how Gary Payton used to play defense? I mean, I don't know if I would say Davion Mitchell's Gary Payton, but you're being guarded when he's on the floor.
Yeah, and he can do it on guys bigger than him. He just stays in front of people, and that's frustrating, Grant. How important is it to have a guy like that on your team that can frustrate the opponent?
It's imperative, especially in the playoffs, especially, late in the games when you go offense, defense, when you need big defensive stops and you can put him on the floor. I mean, it's very advantageous. There's no question about that. So 121 to 113. Next up are those Minnesota Timberwolves. The Pelicans are destroying the Clippers tonight. How about the Suns tonight, in their situation against Philadelphia? I think that's very impressive. And then you have Denver used a big second half to beat the Milwaukee Bucks. But the other scores in the NBA, and again, the Kings are going to be either second or third. I don't think there's any mystery there. But the Suns are going to beat the Sixers. They're up 20 with just a couple seconds left. The Pelicans are beating the Clippers 109 to 88 with 9.5 left. That game is final now. 125 to 105. The Phoenix Suns beat the Philadelphia 76ers. And as I said, the Nuggets, they beat the Bucks tonight 129 to 106. That is your NBA scoreboard. And of course, the Kings winning 121 to 113.
Getting it done. That's exactly what you asked for. Everybody comes out healthy, especially with Fox not playing tonight, and just one more closer to getting to the postseason.
You think Monk said that magic word?
he he said something, that's for sure. I don't think it would have been TV appropriate.
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of people think the Kings will get to 50. They think, I had the Kings splitting with Portland, but if Damian Lillard doesn't play, then I don't think so. I think the Kings will win both those games up in Portland. They're going to beat San Antonio. That's 3 wins right there. They should be able to, and I'm talking about games they absolutely should win. I still think they're going to beat
Yeah.
New Orleans at home. That's 4 right there. So you're getting real close to 50. That's for sure.
Yeah, you're flirting with it, but you also don't know what Mike Brown's going to do with the starters, specifically Sabonis. There's no way he's going to sit him, but
Mhm.
I think they are going to ramp some minutes down for sure. I think you saw that a little bit in the fourth quarter tonight. They gave Sabonis a little bit of an extended rest going into his last spurt.
Yeah, he did play 38 minutes, which is a lot. Jay talked about, I would agree with you. I don't think the Kings played their A game. I mean, listen, the Jazz didn't have anybody really. They just did not. I mean, they had just their key players are out other than their big man. And we've talked about, how well Kessler played, but it's all right. You get the W 121 to 113. I would agree with you though, Jay. I don't think the Kings played their A game. I do think they played their A game in taking care of the basketball. I mean, those are big time numbers, 30 assists, 8 turnovers. That's going to win you a lot of games in the NBA.
Yeah, and we talked all season about consistency, and we are now seeing consistency with them taking care of the basketball. And
Mhm.
as possessions become at a premium in the postseason, that's going to be very important. So that needs to continue.
All right. Again, the Kings with a big third quarter to seize control of this game, and they've never looked back. They never looked back. First of all, we all make predictions. I have been wrong on almost every prediction I've made this year. So who the hell cares if you pick the Jazz at the half? I know you're just, giving them a hard time, but who
Yeah.
cares? Seriously.
All good, all good. I had to stick with my pick, and the way Kessler was playing, you gotta watch that.
Why would you think that Fox is going to miss the first game of the playoffs? Do you realize that the playoffs start April 15th? And do you realize that Fox probably could have played tonight if it were a playoff game? Do you know that he wanted to come in and play last night? Hey, Dr. Fans, take a seat, would you please? Dr. Fan, please. Enough already. Enough, okay? I
What did
mean,
the What did the comment say at the end of the show last night? Rest the
rest him for
fans.
the rest of the year, for the
Rest the
rest of the regular
fans.
season, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh my
You
goodness.
just can't make this stuff up, can you?
No, you cannot. No, you cannot. What's up, MC? Thank you for throwing the stats out there. Appreciate you being here and everybody being here.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of complaints about the broadcast. I didn't watch it, but I've heard about it. It's embarrassing. There's just no other way to say it. It's an absolute embarrassment, period. Okay. Do I need to say any other adjective other than embarrassment? Again, my phone's been blowing up on that. It's just embarrassing. There's just no other way to say it. It is an absolute disgrace, period. All right.
Yeah, we already know it's going to be what it was, but the visual of Mark Jones coming off the top rope in a singlet at a margarita and tequila fest is not one that I soon will forget.
Well,
Hold it back.
I've heard this a lot. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. I really don't. I don't know what to tell you. All right. So, how far do we think the Kings can go? Well, I think a lot depends on the matchup. I mean, let's just call it the way it is. They're going to be a 3 seed in all likelihood. Okay. If they were to play the Phoenix Suns with Kevin Durant, they'd probably be the underdog. If they play the Warriors and the Warriors have Andrew Wiggins back and everybody is on the floor healthy, the Kings are probably going to be the underdog. Would you think that's fair?
Fair.
I mean, I think the Kings could beat those teams, but they would have to play in the 4 games that they win. They would have to play clearly A to A plus basketball, and they're capable of doing that. But you're going against the defending champs if you play them in the first round. And yeah, if the Lakers were healthy and they played them, that would be tough too. And I would agree, sync up to G, man. That's exactly right. But, back to the
Yeah.
matchups. The Kings have shown that they're not a fluke this year. They've shown they can play with the big boys. But again, I'm saying because I don't have a crystal ball. I wouldn't want to play the Suns healthy, and I would not want to play the Warriors healthy. I'll just leave it at that.
Well, the Suns are a difficult matchup for the Kings, and that's
Mhm.
without Durant.
Yeah.
You throw Durant in there, that's a whole different story. I would Minnesota. I'm going to throw them in there too because of the matchups. I think that one could be close in terms of who would be
Mhm.
favored there. But everybody else besides the teams mentioned, I'm kind of confident about with the Kings right now, other than obviously your Dallas or not
All right,
Dallas, but Denver.
Yep. A couple of shows ago, I started, let's take a look at fans who are out of the greater Sacramento area. We had some fans from Vietnam, right, walking down the beach with their J. Will jerseys, all four of them. Then we
Yep.
had Jean Paul from Uganda send me a nice email and some pictures. So this picture is not from outside the United States, but this is a picture just taken a couple of days ago by the Kings fans at the game in Salt Lake City. Brian Lewis is his name. Brian lives in
Nice.
Salt Lake City, and he sent me this picture via Twitter and said they were all at the game. Unfortunately, you didn't see a Kings win in that game, but you were representing, love that, in front of Vivint Arena, all the Kings gear out there. Great picture, and thank you very much for sending it. Now, if you want to be on the post game, all you need to do is send me your photo to gnapier@gmail.com. You can also send it to me via Twitter, but if you go to gnapier@gmail.com, I would also like a little email, where you're from, how long you've been a Kings fan, etc. And maybe I'll feature you right here on the post-game show. So good job from Salt Lake City last week representing. Love to see that. Love to see that.
Very cool. Yeah, Grant, we're seeing more and more Kings fans on the road. Have you noticed
Mm-hmm.
that?
Yep.
They're more showing up, which is really cool.
Viva Vietnam and Uganda and Salt Lake. That's exactly right.
That's John
Absolutely.
Paul. I'm pretty sure that's John Paul, by the way.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I'll send you a picture, of course. Yeah, from Italy. Please do. We would love that.
Yeah, that
Absolutely.
would be awesome.
Yeah. No, that is from Mr. John Paul. You're exactly right. Good stuff right there. All right. And by the way, I'm just blown away how many people watch us from different parts of the world. Cage the Key has no post-game show. Well, you know why? Because everybody's watching this post-game show. Sorry. Thank you very much, by the way, for watching this post-game show. We really
Yep.
appreciate that. Okay.
Absolutely.
Hey, Ricardo, good job. South Carolina. Love to see it. All right. What did you think was the most interesting aspect of this game, or the one thing that you were a little worried about, or because I know we both thought it would be a close game, but that third quarter, what stuck out to you about this game?
Um, what stuck out to me was the way they responded to that 1-3-1 zone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was that good. They got it done. In fact, I should say Kevin Herter got it done. He started cutting to the hoop, but that really troubled the Kings. It made them stagnant, and they ended up breaking it down and did a good job, hit some shots, but that's going to be a problem. If teams start doing that more often, Kings don't come up with a better response.
Edward, hello from South Korea. Glad to have you on. I would think that's from Hawaii, but I don't
That
know.
is Hilo.
Yes. Just want to
Hola,
make sure,
or
just
aloha, excuse me.
yeah, absolutely. And we have got Maine, great state of Maine. My family used to go on vacation up there every summer when I was a little boy, and it was just absolutely great. Loved it. We got fans watching from Connecticut. Yes. How about the Huskies? Yes.
Final Four.
How about
Congrats to
that?
Con Man. Con Man, his family's pretty happy right now.
Yes. I know someone else that is pretty happy right now, and I'm talking to him.
Yeah, we will see tomorrow. I'll be a lot happier tomorrow, Grant. I might come on this channel and celebrate if they make the Final Four, buddy.
Oh my gosh.
So what stuck out to you with the third quarter and that run in this game?
Taking care of the basketball. I just thought they maximized every possession. I love the ball movement. Like, again, I thought the quality of shots they got in the third quarter was what really impressed me. That really impressed me.
Yeah, and they got to the free throw line a decent
Yeah,
amount
they did.
in that second half,
Yeah,
which was always a good thing. Were you worried when Monk got ejected because
a
you
little
already
bit.
got Fox out?
Yeah, I was a
Y-
little bit, but and the reason why I was worried is because the Jazz showed a couple days ago, even without a lot of key players, they can still compete with the Kings and beat them. So I didn't think the Jazz were going to go away, and they didn't. They cut it to 4 with 2 minutes left.
Yeah.
As shorthanded as the Jazz were, with 2 minutes left, it was what a 4-point game, right? And
Yep.
so the game was tight, and but I just love the way the Kings passed the ball and their quality of shots. I thought their quality of shots in this game was outstanding. I mean, they shot over 50% for the game, Ryan, 51.6%. And so or excuse me, let me go back and do that again. They shot 47% for the game, but that percentage was actually, hovering around 50 most of the game. So I'm real
Right.
happy with that. Again, Ryan, when you get 30 assists and 8 turnovers in an NBA game, you're generally going to win the game.
Absolutely, Grant. And the cool thing, that means the ball for the most part is moving, right? And
Mhm.
everybody's getting involved, and that's when this team thrives. They absolutely do.
All right. So, Dog and 916, I'm going to tell you where you can get your shirt. All right. Right there. If you don't like that.com shop, or you can go to grantnapier.com. But if you don't like that.com/shop or grantnapier.com. There you have it.
So, Napes,
Yes,
we're
sir.
talking about Final Four. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so get your voice ready. By the way, so we're talking Final Four college basketball, right? And we lit the beam tonight. That's
Mm-hmm.
Sacramento's thing. Um, I'm not sure if you're aware of this,
I am aware.
but so Princeton gets to the Sweet 16 in Sacramento, and Coachy can't get any love for Princeton with the beam, but UCLA gets the beam. Does
I
Grant
know.
Napier have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I do. I do. Absolutely. All right. And this rant is brought to you by Zoom 180. Go to zoom180.com. Check out this revolutionary new flashlight with 5 LEDs. It's unlike anything on the market. It's unlike anything you have seen before. And if you're one in a million, you don't like the flashlight for some reason, you can send it back and Roy will refund your money. That is zoom180.com. Let me get this straight. So the Sacramento Kings decide to be very innovative, do something that no one else in the country is doing, and after wins, have a purple beam coming out of the arena high into the Sacramento night. Light the beam. It caught on. Most people across the country are aware of it. It's been shown on national TV. It has become very popular. Fans have chanted, "Light the beam" on the road. And UCLA, when's the last time UCLA was relevant in college basketball? I mean, really relevant. I mean, now all of a sudden they're going to light the beam? Really? Where the hell's UCLA this weekend? UCLA playing basketball no, that's right. UCLA lost, huh? How about take that beam and put it where it don't shine? All right? That's what you can do with your beam. All right? Take that beam and shine it where it don't shine. That's what you can do with your freaking beam. How about being like, I don't know, inventing something that a city a couple of 100 miles away doesn't have? How about being creative? How about coming up with your own idea? I mean, that would be like somebody going on an NBA telecast and after a great play saying, "Oh, if you don't like that, you don't like NBA basketball." Well, let me tell you something. If that person ain't Grant freaking Napier, then shut the hell up, because that's my line, okay? Don't be going on TV and saying, if you don't like that, you don't like NBA basketball. That's Grant freaking Napier's line. Don't be lighting the beam in UCLA or any of that other crap. Come up with your own idea, okay? Have your students do a little extra work, stay after class, huddle up, maybe meet at the student union, and come up with an idea that when your basketball team wins a big game, you have something that is innovative, creative, that nobody else is doing, especially in the state that you play in, like freaking California. What a disgrace. It's an embarrassment. Good for UCLA that you're not going to the big dance. Good for you. I bet you even Bill Walton will be appalled by that. Matter of fact, let me text Bill right now. I got Bill's number and ask him what the hell he wants. What would he like? I can guarantee you Bill's not a fan of Light the Beam down at Pauley Pavilion and UCLA. Shame on the UCLA Bruins. And here's something else. How about trying to get some fans to go to your damn football games at the Rose Bowl? What a freaking embarrassment that is on Saturday afternoons. You know, I turn on a UCLA game and I'm like, gee, what high school team's playing today? Then I'm like, well, that's not high school. That's UCLA. I'm like, that's UCLA. There's nobody at the game. How the hell is there nobody at the game? Where is everybody? Beautiful Pasadena, California. I turn on a college football game and I think I'm watching high school football. Yeah, Light the Beam in UCLA, my ass. Put that beam where it don't shine. And that's my rant for today.
Throw it
How are you today,
down. What's that?
I said, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Oh my gosh, I'm crying over here. I think everybody loved that, by the way. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Wow.
How this, I can see the beam from here in Irvine, but you got good eyes. Just like UCLA, my brother Brian sucks. Give him a shout out, please, Grant. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh, you guys are the best. That is hilarious.
You need a statue of a fraud out front of your arena? I don't think so. I would not be in favor of that. Wow.
No. I'm actually surprised they didn't move the 6 statue somewhere downtown.
I know. It should be right out in front of the arena. That's
Yeah.
what should be there. You know?
I agree.
It should be right there in the concourse outside the building when you enter the big, you know, when you enter the big glass doors when they open up, it should be right to the left or right front there. Okay.
Yep.
That's where it should be, you know?
Yep. I feel like they replaced it with the cowbell inside now that somebody rings before the game.
Yes, the Kings are. Actually, are they going to get 50? What do you think, folks? Going to get 50? All right. Going to get 50. Are they going to get 50? You think so, Ryan? You think 49?
I'm going to say, yeah, you know what? With the Portland situation, 49. I'm not going 50, Grant. Can't do it. You going 50?
By the way, I did change it from inside the concourse to outside. So I did make that correction. Well, here's the things I don't know. Okay. The Kings are going to have the 3rd seed, I think, solidified with 3 or 4 games left.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying they can't get to 2, but I don't think they're going to play their players heavy minutes, which might cost them a game or 2, which really wouldn't matter at that point, which could prevent them from winning 50. That's what I don't know. I don't know how Mike Brown is going to coach this team in the final 3 games.
Well, you got to think the Denver game at this point would be a throwaway. Really, nobody's probably playing in that game.
No question.
Yeah. So I would take that one out. Well, I guess, does that make it more up for grabs, Grant, in the NBA when you got both sides sitting their stars?
Yeah, I guess it does, because the players that play don't get a chance to play a lot, and they're getting their time in the sun, so to speak, and they want to play, and they want to play well, you know?
Yeah.
So,
yep.
Hey, if you're watching, do give us a thumbs up, and if you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Also, want to tell you about New Works Plumbing of Sacramento, locally owned for over 20 years. If you have any plumbing issues, any problems, make sure you go to sacserviceplumbing.com or call the number on your screen. New Works Plumbing, they've got a fix for you, and they're available around the clock 24/7. That's sacserviceplumbing.com. New Works Plumbing, they've got a fix for you. So happy to have so many people joining us here on the post game. The Kings win it 121-113. All right, 121-113. And next up, the Minnesota Timberwolves.
What are your expectations for that one, Grant, if De'Aaron does not play?
Is Edwards playing for Minnesota?
Yes.
Okay. I would think Minnesota would win the game.
Okay.
What
What
about
do
you?
you yeah, I think Minnesota wins that game. Even if Edwards isn't playing, I'm not sure how the Kings are going to do. You saw what they did tonight with Kessler. So that kind of worries me if you got two guys like that. I'm not
Mhm.
saying that both those guys are playing at that level, but still the bigs kind of bug me a
Here's
little bit.
something else you have to keep in mind. These games that are now going to be coming up with 8 left, they're all bigger games for the opposition than they are for Sacramento, with the exception of maybe a San Antonio. These are huge, and I mean huge games for these teams that are coming in because they are really fighting for their playoff lives. Now, if you look at the standings right now, for instance, in the West, and you take a look at Minnesota, Minnesota is 7th, okay? And they are only a game back in the loss column of Golden State, which is 6, which would mean you're automatically in. You don't have to go to the play-in and play the extra game or
Right.
games. So these are really big games for these teams that are coming in here.
Grant, that's a wonderful observation. I mean, the Kings consistently have been getting teams' best shots, but particularly now, some of these teams that are trying to solidify their playoff spot.
We didn't say that they weren't capable of beating Minnesota. Did you hear us say that? We didn't say
Nope.
that. We know they're very capable of beating Minnesota. The point that we're trying to make is that if, and again, I don't know, if Fox doesn't play and Minnesota is healthy and what they're playing for, it's going to be a tough game to win. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and don't forget about Mike Conley either. Mike
Mm,
Conley has been
great
a
point.
difference maker for that team since they acquired him. That shows you what a veteran point guard can do to, elevate a team.
Yeah. All right. Again, the Kings get the victory tonight, and they have 45 wins on the year against 29 defeats. Hard to believe that in 3 weeks from now we're going to be talking playoffs, isn't it?
It's pretty exciting, Grant. It's really exciting, and I've said it all season. I'm excited for the fan base that's
Yep.
never been a part of a playoff season here in SAC.
All right. Hey, I want to tell you about Bennett's. They have a third location coming to Rockland very soon, currently at Roseville, and that's Eureka and Lead Hill Road, Sacramento, Howe, and Fair Oaks. And don't forget about their prime seafood and steak. When I go seafood, I love the redfish. It comes with a side of sauteed spinach. It is awesome. If I'm doing steak, it's hard to beat the bone-in ribeye. Their porterhouse is phenomenal. The prime New York, they have hanger steak. And don't forget on the weekends, prime rib, 50 different types of wine available by the glass, the weekend brunch. It's all there for you at Bennett's. Get more information at Bennett'sRestaurants.com. Check out the menu. You get food to go. They have it all. Bennett'sRestaurants.com. Brian and his family, big time supporters. I would predict that Brian was at the game tonight. So we appreciate Bennett's for all that they do. Again, the Kings victorious with a big third quarter tonight, as they just hammered the Jazz after 3 with that big third quarter. And again, the scores, if you did not look at the scoreboard tonight in the West, the Nuggets beat the Bucks 129-106. The Suns beat the Sixers 125-105. And the Pelicans routed the Clippers 131-110. I know the Clippers beat the Thunder the other night. I think they're in big trouble now. I think they're going to fall quickly in the standings.
Yeah, they were not playing great even when before George got hurt. So they're definitely floundering, and they're not. It's not going to go good. I mean, LA is struggling overall. Both LA teams.
Thank you, Jay. Bennett's is top shelf. I love going there when I'm in Sacramento. That is the case. All right, so now as we focus in, here's the most important thing the rest of the way: health.
Yep.
No injuries. That's it. You're going to be either a 2 seed or a 3 seed. That's pretty much locked in. You're going to be either 2 or 3. The only thing that matters, and it really doesn't make that big of a difference whether you're 2 or 3. And I'd rather be 2, so would you. But it's health. No injuries the rest of the way. Got to be healthy.
Yeah, and I'm gonna double down on what you're saying on top of health. You can't lose your composure. Okay,
Mhm.
don't do anything stupid to get yourself suspended. That would put anything in question. With the team heading into the playoffs, because like you said, they're going to be getting other teams' best shots because they're contending right now.
Joe, thank you very much. We greatly appreciate your super chat donation. Thank you. It's much
Thank you, Joe.
appreciated.
Joe's been
Yes,
popping up a lot
indeed.
lately.
What's that?
Said Joe's been popping up a
Yeah,
lot lately. So thank
yeah,
you, Joe.
absolutely. All right. Tomorrow's game, Memphis and Atlanta. Yeah, I've got to keep an eye on it. No question about that. Absolutely. All right. Again,
Michael Guerrero,
huh?
you know what else you need to keep an eye on tomorrow? The San Diego State Aztecs, buddy. Talking about Memphis and Atlanta. Come on, man. Come on, Guerrero. Do better.
Oh my gosh.
Just
You
playing,
know, it's
buddy.
funny that you asked this. Jerry and I, Sea Dog, were talking about this with Ryan on Wednesday's show about momentum. And Jerry thinks it is important. I think it's important too. I don't think you want to go into this playoff series on a downward spiral, particularly if you end up playing a team like Golden State in the first round. I think your confidence has got to be at an all-time high when you start the playoffs. So I personally think it is important.
Yep, absolutely. And Coach Brown has shown that he coaches aggressively, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he's going to let this team lose momentum either in games or in practice.
He's been around the block a couple times. That's what
Yep.
Jerry always used to say. He's been around the block a couple times. He knows what he's doing, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Again, I thought Davion Mitchell played well. Again, he's not going to do it offensively on most nights, but defensively, he's such a presence out on the floor. He took care of the basketball, and I was happy with the way he played tonight.
Yeah, Grant, I said it at halftime. I would have liked to see some other guys get some of his shots, but I'm just nitpicking there.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, he did play very well, and if he plays like that with Fox out, this team's going to be fine.
And I do think you're going to see some minutes being reduced here, not this week, but in the final 5 games. I do. I think if you have a chance, a legitimate chance to be number 2, then no. But I think when you get down to the final 2 games, I think you rest your players for sure. Absolutely. No question
Grant,
about that.
so going back to what I said, if you're resting them for games, are you resting them hard at practice, or are you practicing them just a little bit harder?
Oh, well, a lot of teams really don't practice that much towards the end of the year. And when they do, it's very fast and succinct to the point. There's not a
Okay,
lot of messing around. So it's not going to be practice because they don't really do that much anyway now. It's pretty much going to be in games.
gotcha. Okay.
All right. Again, the Kings get the win tonight, 121 to 113. And again, let's understand that Mike Brown's got complete control of this team. All right. So he knows what he's doing. All right. Don't worry about it. Okay. He's not going to do something stupid and, play guys 45 minutes a game in the final week of the season. He's got it. Okay. He's got it. As far as what the Blazers are doing, that's exactly what they're doing. They're just saying, hey, we're going to try to get that number 1 pick in the draft. And they're waving the white flag. That's exactly what they're doing. 100%.
Kind of feels
If I
like they
were,
waved.
what's that?
Oh, go ahead. Finish your
No,
thought.
if I were a season ticket holder for the Blazers, I wouldn't even think of going to any game. I would not go to a game and protest. That's ridiculous.
Well, it kind of feels like, and I agree with you, it feels like they waved the white flag from the beginning of the second half of the season with Dame not even playing, you
And
know,
and Jeremy Grant. And then they had
and
the
Jeremy
nerve to
Grant.
put down rest.
Yes. Yes. Well,
So
at least they're honest, right? Good karma there.
they are indeed, as far as the rookie record, I mean, that's always nice when you can have a record. It doesn't mean as much to me, and this is the reason why. The game has changed so much, even in the last 5 years with the 3 ball. That's a little misleading. I mean, it's nice to have. You always want to have a record, but that will be broken next year. So that's not going to be a record that's going to stand very long. Okay, that will
I,
be broken by a rookie next year.
I disagree with you. Donovan Mitchell is the one that holds the record right now, and he's only been in the league for 4 or 5 years, I think.
I will
So,
predict the record will be broken next year. We'll see. Write
okay.
write yourself a note to remind me 12 months from now. Okay.
Okay. Do you want to double down and say that it'll be a Kings rookie that does it too?
No.
Okay. With the way they shoot the three?
Yeah. Yeah.
God.
Oh my gosh. Could it be a center that breaks the record next year? Yeah, it could with the
Yeah.
way the game's being played, you know?
Oh,
Oh my
wait,
gosh.
I thought they were getting rid of the center in the NBA now.
I believe they were, but then I watched I saw how the Jazz played tonight, and I think, no, the center
Yeah.
is still back in the game,
Yeah, absolutely. Some teams
right?
don't have a way to guard them if you have a good one.
Yeah, very true. All right, so uh there's really no negatives tonight at all, is there?
No, no, not that I can think of. You know, get ready for Minnesota, but the assists and turnovers is so encouraging. I mean, can you think of any other stats that are more important than that to a team that
No,
plays this way?
no. I always look at that. That's the first thing I look at when I go to a stat sheet. First thing I look at is assist to turnover ratio. I think it is such a telltale sign in the NBA. And when you have that first number that starts with a 3, you're generally going to win. And when that second number is less than a 10, you almost always win in the NBA. But almost always.
There you go, folks. Don't make any wagers based on that advice, but yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
You know, there's no answer to this, you know, but I will tell you this. The Rick Adelman's teams in the early 2000s would destroy this Kings team. It wouldn't even be close. Okay, it would. If they played a 7-game series, I don't know if this version of the Kings team would win more than one game, and I really mean that. That team would overpower, outshoot. The bench is better. That team would destroy this team, in my opinion. Now you have to remember, and again, that team was a 60-plus win team. Okay,
Yes.
okay. Let's just be honest. Okay, and I'm not disrespecting this year's Kings team, but also look at the players that played on the opposition that year. You know, the Lakers still had Shaq and Kobe. You know, the Lakers had Nowitzki and Nash. You know, Minnesota had Garnett, and the Jazz had Stockton and Malone. All right, I mean, let's just understand that era of basketball. That era of basketball with that team, that Kings team, with Bibby, Christie, Peja, Webb, Vladi, with coming off the bench with Bobby Jackson, Hito, Scott Pollard. Okay, and I'm leaving out some guys. I'm just doing this off. I'm sorry, folks. They would destroy this Kings team. I mean, and again, I'm not being like negative. I'm just telling you, they would destroy this team.
I don't think I agree with you, but I'm not sure about shooting. You really think that team would outshoot this team?
Yes, I do. I do. Yep,
Interesting.
I do.
I think one thing you leave out there is that team, because they would have slowed the pace down, and this team likes to get out and run. And we see how this team does when teams slow it down against them, and it's usually not great.
Bobby Jackson and Doug Christie would contain De'Aaron Fox. They wouldn't stop him, but they would contain him. Okay. This team has nobody, okay, that could guard Chris Webber. Nobody. Nobody. Okay. Chris would destroy this team. Okay. So this is an interesting question. It's Sabonis better than Chris? He's not more talented than Chris. He's not. All right. He's just not. Chris would destroy Sabonis. Now, I would also tell you, Chris would not have an easy time guarding Sabonis. So I'll put that
Exactly.
out there. But there's no way that there's anybody on this team that could guard Chris. Nobody. It would be a matchup
Yeah.
that would be a real problem. And I'll tell you this, who on this team is going to guard Vladi? They don't have anybody that would be able to play with Vladi. And who's going to guard Peja? Harrison Barnes? Again, the bench alone for that team would be a huge difference maker. Do I think they would outshoot? I think they would completely outplay this team. And again, that's not bad.
No.
We're having fun here.
Yeah,
And if
exactly.
you disagree with me, feel free to come on and disagree with me. I don't have a problem with that. But this team would have a very difficult time winning one game in a 4-game series, in a 7-game series against Sacramento. Okay, well, Vladi might be on Sabonis. You're right. I don't know what the matchups would be, but I don't think it would be that close. I really don't.
Well,
As far as someone said that team was too slow. That team could play any style of basketball they wanted to. Okay, because when Bobby Jackson was on the floor instead of Mike Bibby, they got up and down the court. Okay, they all ran the floor. They got fast break baskets galore. So no, they weren't slow. Were they faster than this team? There's no team in the NBA that's really faster than this team because of De'Aaron Fox. But you have to understand, it's basketball. It's not a track meet with batons, and you're not running a relay. There's a lot more to it than just speed.
But you would say that team was more methodical. I mean, they really
Yes.
were. The way that they shared
Yes.
the basketball and their decisions on shots. The Weber thing, that's really interesting because it would, right now, the way this team's made up, it would be Harrison or Keegan that would have to guard him. And if you put,
They would get
they
destroyed.
would,
They would.
exactly. And Sabonis, he's not quick enough to keep up with Weber's first step. He would just blow by him.
Keegan would have 3 fouls before the first time out of the first quarter.
Oh, yeah. Well, he didn't have a single foul tonight until the 2-minute mark of the fourth. Is that a
No, I know.
problem?
But let me tell you something. If he was guarding Chris, I'm just telling you, Chris, the talent level of Chris, there's nobody on this current Kings team that could defend him. There's just not. Nobody. So, and that's just one area, okay? I'll tell you right now, Doug Christie would completely lock up Kevin Huerter. Kevin Huerter wouldn't have scored 10 points against Doug. He wouldn't, okay? They wouldn't be able to stop Peja. Bobby would come off the bench and completely. I mean, again, there's a big difference between this year's team and that team, but that doesn't mean that this team's not very good and you shouldn't enjoy it. And who knows, maybe next year I'll have a completely different opinion of that and go, wow, wouldn't it be great to see the 2002 Kings play the 2024 Kings? God, what an epic 7-game series that would be.
Yeah,
right?
And everybody, don't forget, up until this year, that team was like the holy grail of Sacramento, right? And now we're comparing them to this team. So that just tells you how big of a step they've taken. Grant, I was asked on the pregame show if you could have taken one bench player from that 0-2 team and put him on this team, who would it be? Who is it for you?
Don't laugh when I say this, but Scott Pollard.
That's what I said.
Really?
Yes, that's exactly what I said.
Wow.
That's hilarious.
Wow. How about that?
Yep.
And I didn't watch your show today, so I apologize. So you said Scott.
Yeah, it was a couple shows ago. It was a couple shows ago they asked that.
Can you imagine Scott on this team? I mean, he doesn't need the ball. He's going to guard your best big man and make life. I'll say the one thing. A lot of people don't understand this. Scott Pollard played Karl Malone much better than Chris Webber did. Chris couldn't play against Karl Malone. Scott could. Scott gave him all he could handle, and Scott would be perfect for this team. Absolutely perfect.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And he's got that scrappiness too, right? Coming off the bench, that scrappiness, that's one of those traits that just you can't teach.
Yeah, that's a good one. You and I are both thinking like that.
Yep.
Scott Pollard.
Yep.
Yeah. I think he would be. I mean, if the Kings could add a player like that in the offseason, that would be great. Well, we can't say Brad Miller. Brad wasn't on that team in 2002. He came in the following year. All right.
Mm-hmm. He's a fairly underrated big man for what he did in Sacramento. You don't hear that name too much.
Two-time All-Star.
That's right. That's right.
One in each conference. So, I mean, there aren't a lot of players that have played in the NBA that can say that, right?
Yep, absolutely.
All right, buddy, give me some final thoughts here as we wrap up this post-game show.
I'm just glad we don't hopefully have to see Utah anymore this season.
Yeah.
I mean, really, that's it. But go Kings, light the beam, and amazing rant. Amazing rant.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Good luck to your Aztecs tomorrow. I won't even attempt to bother you tomorrow. I promise.
No worries. All right, Grant. Thank you.
All right, take care. Hey, I really appreciate everyone joining us right here for our pregame, our halftime, and our postgame shows. It is awesome. One other message before I leave you. If you want to be an idiot on the chat line, go right ahead. But you'll be blocked. Okay? I had to block someone earlier. I had to block someone the last show, and you will be blocked. So if you want to have fun and participate like 99% of the fans that are watching this chat, and we have thousands of people watching on Periscope and YouTube, that's great. If you want to be an idiot and you are that, I guess, troubled in life where you think it's fun to go on somebody's live show and show the world what a moron you are, I can't stop you from doing that live, but you will know you will be blocked. Okay. So the choice is yours. We can all have fun. We can all have a good time doing the post-game shows. We can agree to disagree, and we can do everything else. But as this word says right here, you will be blocked. So the choice is yours. Join us, have fun, agree, disagree. But let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you something that's off limits, okay? My family is off limits. Skin color is off limits. Somebody's appearance is off limits, okay? Someone's sexuality is off limits. Someone's religion is off limits, okay? Those are all off limits. If you're going to go there and you're going to talk about my family, you're going to be blocked. If you're going to talk about someone's skin color, you're going to be blocked. If you're going to talk about ethnicity, religion, if you're going to talk about sexuality, you're going to be blocked. So the choice is yours, okay? It's a very simple choice. Have fun, join us like so many people do here, or be blocked. Amir, love you too, buddy. You're the best. And so are so many of you, all right? You're awesome. But I just wanted to put that out there because I'm not going to tolerate that. Okay. And if you want to come on and disagree with me and yell at me, that's fine. You can yell at me and you can disagree with me all you want. And by yelling, I'm talking about via the chat line. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with you disagreeing with me. I'm okay when I make a prediction that doesn't come true. If you want to get on my case, I'm okay with that. That's fine. Okay. But all the other stuff that I talked about, not happening. Not going to happen. All right. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you so much for being right here on If You Don't Like That.